Hey guys, Gary Lucas with Obsidian Painting. Sorry if you can hear my fan. It's really hot here in Ottawa. So essentially what I want to talk about today is my commission painting. I've kind of changed how I'm doing things. And with that, I've changed my pricing, and I've also changed what I'm accepting. So I'm no longer accepting large armies. I will still do large armies, but I've changed my prices to reflect my disdain for that. They're not ridiculous prices. They're pretty average prices. But essentially, the pricing I had before made it not worth the time. So I ended up spending a month or so on a whole army and lost money, essentially, because of the amount of time it took. So I've changed my pricing, and I'll put a link to my website and my pricing somewhere here. And or it'll be down below at least. So how I've broken it down is I've broken it down into basing prices, assembly pricing, conversion price, and painting pricings. So for the basing prices, I have 3 different bases: standard, embellished, and display. The standard base is what I would use for armies. So if you wanted to get an army, that's what I do. I don't even want to take the time to give you like embellished bases. Like, it's just so time consuming that whatever. Anyways, if you really wanted, I would do it. But standard bases, $4 each. Embellished bases are $8 each, and display bases are $20 each. Now the difference is a standard base is more so just I put some rocks on it, maybe some static grass of some sort, and it looks good. Now I will make it fit the theme of your army, and I'm not just gonna, if you say, oh, I want lava bases and stuff, well, sure, I'll give you lava bases. Now, mind you, for a standard base, lava base probably is not something you want. If you want a lava base, I'd say go for an embellished base, because then I start adding green stuff and acquiring other parts to add to the bases to make them look fantastic. I would use embellished bases for things like small squads. I wouldn't really use it on single figures. I would use display base on single figures if that's what you wanted, unless your single figure is meant to be as part of an army, in which case then I'd get an embellished base. Don't go for a standard base if you're just getting a single figure. It's not worth it for you. So the display base is $20 because that includes a little plinth that it comes on, and then it also I do crazy stuff with display bases. I'll carve them out and like add scenes to them essentially, and then I put your model on it, and it's fantastic. So that's why it's $20, because of the cost of everything that I use. So for assembling prices, for like armies, I do like $1 per figure, unless it's huge or large, in which case then you have to pay what I call my deluxe assembly, because they're so big that the normal assembly techniques don't really work on them. So for basic assembly, I just remove flash and mold lines, and I glue things together, and it's fantastic, and it's $1 per model. For deluxe assembly, I include everything I do in your basic assembly, but I also add magnetization, so you don't even have to ask for it. You just say, oh, I want deluxe assembly. It includes magnetization and pinning, so I'll also pin stuff. That's why large and huge models need the deluxe assembly, is because it includes those things, because larger models need pinning, and they also are larger, so it takes more time to remove mold lines and glue them together. So that's $6 per model. Premium assembly is what I would say you'd want to use if you were just getting a single figure, and it includes everything from deluxe, so I'll pin them, I'll magnetize them, etc. But I also add special cleaning that I do to the models. Like if it's a metal model, I'll actually brush the surface of it with metal wire until it's like perfectly smooth. It's ridiculous. It actually does make painting it better. And then it also covers the cost of simple conversions and stuff. So like if you wanted to swap it apart for a new part, and it needed like some green stuff to fill in the gaps, this would cover that. And so that's $12 a model. Conversion price. Conversions are tricky to price because they're so random. Like a conversion could either be, I want you to put this arm on a guy as opposed to this arm that's not part of his set. And it's like, Okay, like that is like, I would probably just charge you the cost of the part plus like $1. Like, it's not even, doesn't even matter. But then there are things that are like, I want you to sculpt the whole demon on this guy, and it's like, well then, that's going to cost a bit. So that varies immensely. Army conversions, though, as I said, just using other bits and using some green stuff to fill in it is $2 per model. But for anything else, we're just gonna have to go by ear, and we'll just talk about it. So for painting prices, I got rid of the whole level system that I had. Like, I had your tabletop, display, and competition, and now I just have categories. So if you want an army painted, it's going to cost you $6 per model. That's a single-sized figure. Large models are $15. Those include mounted units with wings, large monsters, etc. And then huge models, which are like giants and dragons and massive models, they're $30 each. And that's if they're part of an army. Tanks, small tanks, which are like a rhino or something like that, $20 each. Medium tanks are $30 each. Those are like predators and stuff. And then large tanks are $50 each, and those are like land raiders, storm ravens, etc. For a small squad, it's going to cost you $20 per model. For a single size figure, $40 per large figure, and $80 per huge figures. But you're never going to have a squad of huge figures, so that's ridiculous. And you most likely won't have a small squad of large figures. It'll mostly just be the single size figures. So it'll be $20 per single size figure, and these are painted to a display quality. So pretty much anything you've seen on my channel where you're like, wow, that looks amazing, that's the quality that they're painted to. Like you saw in Black Reach Orc Boss, and anything that was painted in my DVD, those are all what I would call my display quality. Except for probably, no, they're all display quality. And then for signal figures, the price goes up significantly, because for this, I want to give you the best I can possibly do. My display quality is really good, but it's probably not like 100% my best. It's probably what I would consider like my 90%. So like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's like less than my best. I'm just saying quality-wise, I could do better than my display quality, but it's so time-consuming that it doesn't matter. So that's why for single figures, I'm going to do it, because it's worth it then. So for single figures, for single-sized figures, it's $80. And this, the thing about this quality is it's better than my display quality. The blending will be perfect. Everything will just look so amazingly good. I've only ever done like 2 models in my whole life that were this quality. So I know I can do it. And it's just, they're so fantastic that even my mind is blown when I paint them. So single size figures are $80, large figures are $120, and huge figures are $160. So if you wanted to just get a dragon painted to, like, you're like, oh man, I got this dragon, want to paint it so it looks amazing, right? Be $160, because it's so big and it'd be so time consuming to blend everything on it. So it's $160. Large figures are $120, and then single size figures are $80. So, I mean, some of the prices seem high, but you have to consider that I have to make enough per hour to make it worth it. So, say a single size figure is $80, okay? That means if I want to make $10 an hour, I have to spend 8 hours on that figure, and only 8 hours. So, I mean, that's just the painting. So if you include assembly and the basing, then it probably comes out to around $100 and some dollars, like $100. So that essentially gives me 10 hours to paint the model to make it look as good as I can. And of course, I always end up spending a little more than 10 hours. I'll probably spend more like 15. But so that's where my thinking is coming from, especially for the armies, like $6 per model. So that means for $6, right? That's less than an hour per model. That's so I just want you to think about that. So if you're interested in anything, you can check out my website, and you can look in the photo gallery to see some stuff I've painted. You can also just check out whatever, just all my YouTube videos. And if you're interested in any commissions, just let me know. All prices are negotiable, so don't just look at it and say, oh, that's set in stone. I want everyone to be able to have painted miniatures, and I really want to help people have painted miniatures, either through teaching them how to paint or, painting them for them if they can't afford it or whatever. So if you have like a set budget and you want your whole army painted, let me know what your budget is and we'll work something out. Alright, so thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it informed you on things. So there you go.